How you doing, man? How's it going?
What's up, man? The man himself. How you doing?
I'm good, really good.
You just made your UFC debut. How's it feel?
Oh, it feels great, man. I'm kind of riding the high of getting out there and finally getting to get that first big win. And the Contender
Yeah.
Series was really cool, but a big difference getting to actually get that win in the Octagon, for the UFC on ESPN. And riding the high, man. Really enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, it's an honor to be one of the first people to interview you, like once your UFC career starts, and it's a blessing, man. It's my honor.
Oh no, thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate the time.
Oh, well, I'm gonna start off with a fan question from Shamadly in love with you, and it says, "How did you first get into MMA?"
So I got into MMA kind of through, traditional martial arts and then through jiu-jitsu. It started, I always say, and it really is true, is with the Power Rangers. I was 4 years old when kind of my family discovered martial arts. So my brother got me into it because I wanted to do karate just because the Power Rangers did karate. The original ones, the cool ones, before it got all dinosaur themed and all that weird stuff. Original Power Rangers, the Green Ranger, the Red Ranger did karate, and I wanted to be like them. I was 4, so I was too young to really do any after school stuff. I didn't even go to school yet, just preschool. So my brother went because he was playing baseball, and I always say it, but my parents will tell you it's because of town politics, because we moved towns. He wasn't playing. I just think he probably wasn't very good. So they put him in karate, and then, it was 99, so that's when everything was kind of making the switch to, traditional martial arts were getting weeded out, and jiu-jitsu was taking over at that time. So the owner of the school got his blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and back then, that's like a black belt now. So he ended up changing the whole school over to jiu-jitsu. So when I started, I ended up doing both for a long time. I think when I was a little kid, I got my black belt. I did under my jiu-jitsu instructor, John Hassett. I actually have a black belt in karate under him too. But I focused on jiu-jitsu most of my life, and did it since I was 6. So it was just kind of the natural progression to get into MMA once I became old enough to really decide what I wanted to do competitively.
Yep. I brought up your debut. You won via unanimous decision. What was your game plan going in?
Well, it was kind of exactly what we did. It would have been great to get a first-round finish or put him out of there or anything like that. But we did plan to spend a lot more time on the feet, but the takedowns were there, so I took them. But, we planned for him to be so tough. And he's not a guy you're going to submit. He's never been submitted in the UFC.
Yeah.
And he's fought some absolute studs like Jim Miller and Thiago Tavares and guys that are really, really good on the floor. So we kind of knew, as much as we hoped it would be there and I could put the pressure on him, he's very patient. He's very cagey. He just kind of scrambles his way out of things. So we kind of knew we were going to have to go to work for 15 minutes and, beat him everywhere. That was the whole plan. The whole camp was wrestle through positions. And, in the in-between is where we're going to have to get him, like being in half guard and punching him or, turking the legs and punching him. And it really did work perfect. My coaches, John Salter and Jeff Jimmo, had me prepared, especially in the wrestling and the grappling for him. And everything they said happened. So I always say they're a lot smarter than me, and I just go in and listen to them, and it worked.
Yeah, well, it was a tremendous job. Congratulations on it. It was first UFC win, man.
Thank you, man.
Hopefully one of many. You said he was talking a lot during the whole fight. What exactly what was he saying?
Just weird stuff, man. I never really had anybody talk to me. I had one opponent a couple fights back, maybe like 2 years ago almost. And I was just hitting the guy, and he was saying it's nothing. But other than that, I've never had like trash talk or anything like that. And somebody asked me yesterday, like, "Oh, can we expect you to talk in the octagon?" I was like, "Absolutely not. That is not me." But he was saying, just it started out like I would hit him, and this is late in the first round. He started talking, and he was like, Joe, like kind of like that's nothing type thing. I was like, okay, like I didn't really put much into it because first of all, I knew I was winning, and second of all, like it's just not me, and I don't want to get emotional, and then you get tired, and it's just not something I do. So I didn't really play into it, and he kept doing that the entire fight. It's gonna take more than that, Joe. Things like that. You can't finish me. Things like that again. And then the third round, there's 20 seconds left, so I was like, oh, okay, I've won. Nothing's gonna happen in these 20 seconds that are gonna change it. I'm on his back, and I hit him again. He was like, "What are you gonna do?" And that's when it's the only time I answered him the entire time, and I didn't mean anything by it. I was just kind of playing the game because he finally it felt like I was being bullied. Like I hit him up for 3 rounds, and he was still making fun of me. So I just responded and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna put you out of a job," and he lost it. So
Yeah.
and I don't want that. I said that a couple times since. Like I don't want that for him and his family. I was just saying, like, clearly I'm the better fighter tonight. So, like, he just wasn't respecting me. So that hit a nerve. Then he was yelling at me, yelling at my corner, wouldn't shake my hand. But then the next day at breakfast, we talked. He was good. His emotions got the best of him, and I totally get it. You know, what I said probably did hit close to home because he is in that position. And, you know, obviously I don't want that for him, but we talked the next day, and everything was good. Super nice guy, very respectful, and it was great. He was good to me, my team, my wife. He shook everybody's hand, and he had his kids there and stuff. So all the best to him and his family, man.
Do you believe that you might have possibly put an end to his UFC career? Because he's on a losing streak, so.
Yeah, you know, he had a lot of time off and then came back, and it's been 2 fights in a row. So maybe because he's such a vet, they'll keep him around and give him another shot. Oh, sorry about that. And give him another shot, but
That's all good.
it's tough to tell, you know. So I hope not, just for him. I hope he comes back and has great success because in reality, that only make my career look better too. So, but yeah, unfortunately, I think maybe so. He might have maybe one more, but that might be time.
Yep. What's your game plan for this upcoming year in 2020?
You know, I want to stay busy. I want to, you know, stay as active as possible. I've always done a pretty good job of staying active on the regional scene and such, and I don't plan to change that. But, you know, we have a lot of teammates fighting, and we have a lot of different guys with things coming up. You know, my coach, John Salter, just won in the main event at Bellator in early November. So I'm sure he'll be back sometime in the, you know, the spring. So I'll be of service to him any way I can. And my good buddy and training partner that trains us at Jim O, who's been helping me out a ton, Scott Holtzman's fighting in February. So I'm going to be up there and, you know, letting him beat me up and give him the best looks I can. So I'm right back in the gym already. So if something comes up, great. But I think a good timeline to get back in there would be like, you know, early spring, maybe April would be great. I saw they have like the Brooklyn card, somewhere around that time frame. But again, beggars can't be choosers. I'm the new guy. So whenever they say, I'll be ready. We're already back. I sparred today. So I'm right back in the gym. We've always got guys and stuff coming up. So this is what I love to do. You know, it's cliche for sure in the fight game, but it's true for me. This is really what I love to do. So I'm hooked, man. I got to just ride the wave and keep training, getting better. And when they call, I'll be ready.
If you could pick anybody, who would you like to fight next?
Oh, man, that's a tough question just because there's so many guys. You know, there's 600 guys in the UFC, but there's so many guys in the lightweight division just because it's a very common size, you know. I always say all the super athletic guys that are, you know, light, heavy, and heavyweight went to play football or basketball or, you know, we're all the athletes that aren't big enough to play real sports, so we're here. So it's a stacked division. There's so many guys, and there's nobody I have in mind. I know it's a boring answer, but just because there's so many guys, they're always going to hit you with somebody you don't even think about. Like Matt Wyman. I was thinking I was going to fight one of the guys from my episode of Contender Series maybe or something like that. And they came out with Matt Wyman. I was like, wow, that's a legend. That guy's 17 fights in the UFC. So I'm not attached to the idea of fighting anybody. I'm just ready to go, and I'm going to worry about me because I'm just not good enough yet to worry about the other guy. You know, even with Wyman, we had a template where we thought I could succeed, but we were more worried about just getting my skills up to par. I got a lot of holes and a lot of things I got to work on, and I'm just going to keep doing that. And whoever they give me, I will be ready because of my team. You know, they're going to put a game plan together, and we'll find a way for sure.
Yeah, I believe I had Austin Hubbard on a week or so ago, and I feel like I think he said that the lightweight has the most fighters in a division out of all the divisions. So got plenty of options.
Stacked, man. If you look down the roster, like the guys that aren't ranked, you have so many just such high caliber fighters that aren't even ranked. So it's crazy. It's crazy the level of talent. But that's just it's a Shark Tank in there. So, you know, every fight's going to be tough. And we know that.
Yeah. How do you feel about the UFC's ranking system? Do you feel like they do a good job at keeping it like accurate and right, or do you feel like it's kind of hit or miss?
No, I mean, obviously I'm not in a position to really worry about myself with the rankings. So outside looking in as a fan, I'm a really big fan. So I think it's great. You know, obviously once you get into the top 10, especially that top maybe 7 or 6, I think anybody can be anybody on any given day. So that's kind of where you see these guys jump in the line. But, you know, there's no reason number 6 can't beat number 1. They're all in the top 10, you know. So I think guys get mad at that a little bit, like maybe McGregor comes back and jumps the line or people like that. But you can't be mad at that because they're all top fighters in the world at that point. Anybody can get anybody on any day. So I think the rankings are great. You know, you can't put too much stock into them, but I think the biggest goal for guys like myself and other people is trying to break into the top 15 because then you're ranked, and at that point you're one of the guys. Once you're one of the guys, somebody falls out, you could be fighting for a title. You never know. So I think that's the biggest thing is just getting ranked. After that, if somebody's 6 or somebody's 7, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. So as a fan, that's my output on it. But I'm sure when I plan to work my way up there one day, when I do get there, I'll probably have a much bigger opinion on it. And, I might be a very different one.
Yeah, you brought up McGregor. Do you feel like he's held up the lightweight division a lot in the past few years, or do you feel like he's just being McGregor?
I think he's just being McGregor. I think it's a double-edged sword. He brings so many eyes to the sport and so much attention, so you've got to respect that, and it's good for everybody. So, on the other end of things is you got to remember that he wasn't the champion for quite a while. He vacated the belt and all that, or then Khabib had it. These guys choose to wait for him because you're going to make more money on that fight, and it's good for the sport in general. So as much as I don't like his antics, or maybe he did hold up some of the rankings and things, but it is good for the sport because people watch because of him. A lot of people that wouldn't watch otherwise. So and it's going to raise. He's made a lot of demands on the UFC that are making them really raise their game too. So, just pay-wise and things like that, and maybe shifting things more toward the boxing route where one day fighters will be co-promoting and things like that. So, it's a double-edged sword. Has he held up the division? Sure, for the top guys, but it hasn't affected me any. I have one fight in the UFC, so I can't complain. I like watching the fight. So,
yeah. Do you feel like the judges do a good job in doing the scorecards and stuff, or do you feel like they should probably put some more qualifications on to be able to be a judge?
Yeah, it's hit or miss. It depends on the state and everything else. And the commissions, you go to New Jersey, you're going to get good judges. You go to Las Vegas, unless somebody's being paid off like Adelaide Bird, Other than that, you get good judges, but some of these states that don't have fights come frequently. We saw it with DC this week. They don't host, big MMA fights a lot. So the commission was just a mess. My cornermen weren't approved to corner me until, I think, Friday morning. They made them send different headshots and this and that. And usually, all these commissions that hold fights regularly, you show up the day of, you can file your application as a corner. So I think it just depends on the state and the commission. But, my experiences have been pretty good. I fought most of my fights in New Jersey, which they've been holding big boxing matches since the beginning of time. And MMA since the beginning of time. The UFC doesn't go there as much anymore. But all my referees have been like black belts in jiu-jitsu and former fighters and stuff. So I can't complain. And even this weekend in D.C., Fernando Yamasaki, very high-level black belt in jiu-jitsu. He let us work on the ground. He only stood us up once. So I can't complain. But then you see some terrible decisions. But I think it's just a necessary evil. And luckily, I think the UFC kind of, when that happens and there's a bad decision, they'll count it as like a moral victory and kind of not make you pay for that loss. They'll bump you up the rankings still or give you a tough opponent afterward. And, it's also subjective. It's just very tough. There's no scoring system other than somebody's opinion. So it makes MMA tough. My boxing coach always says it's the theater of the unknown that keeps people coming back. When you watch Triple G beat up Canelo the first time and it's a draw, well, now people want to come back and see the second one because that was unexpected. So it's a necessary evil.
Yeah. We got a big card tonight. Who all do you got tonight?
Oh, man, I keep going back and forth. I think it's because Colby's so polarizing. I'm not the biggest Usman fan. I like watching him fight, but I don't really know a ton about him other than I've seen his fights. But I think I'm pulling for Usman, but they both are so similar. The only thing I've said differently is I think Usman has a little more pop on his shots. But that being said, Colby keeps a higher volume on the feet. I think a lot of it's going to be spent on the feet because they're both great wrestlers. So I'm going to pick Usman, but it definitely wouldn't shock me if Colby comes out and just dogs him for 5 rounds because his conditioning is amazing. I do think Volkanovski is going to pull it off against Holloway. Everybody talks about the reach and stuff, but Volkanovski, I read, has a longer reach. And he's short and compact, but I got to pull for a guy like that because I'm short and compact. So, he gets inside real well, but I'm picking him in the upset. And I think the other big fight is Amanda Nunes, and it's very hard to pick against her. She's she's phenomenal everywhere. So I love watching her fight, So I think it's going to be a really good night of fights, though.
Oh yeah, from top to, I'm pretty sure from the really basically 3 main events to the first prelim fight is good. It's just a stacked card. But and there's not much in your division tonight, but there is in a few months with Tony and Khabib. How do you see that playing out?
Oh man, I think it's gonna be. Everybody keeps saying Tony's the guy, and Well, it wouldn't shock me because he's so crazy the way he
Yeah.
fights.
Yeah.
I just don't know, man. I don't think people talk about how the guy that can have offense off his back is going to be the guy to beat Khabib. And I don't think that's true. It's very, very hard. I've done jiu-jitsu my whole life. It's very, very hard to triangle or armbar or guillotine somebody off your back that has great top pressure, and Khabib's never in position to be submitted. So I think it's going to be more of the same of what he's been doing. I mean, people love to say he has a good guard and all that, and he does, but I don't think rubber guard is going to be the answer to beat Khabib. Maybe he'll get some elbows going from the bottom or something crazy, but I don't think anybody has the recipe. And on the feet, Khabib's pretty darn good. He dropped Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
He did all right with Poirier. He was landing. He got tagged and got wobbled, but he's never shown huge chinks in the armor. He's just so good at wrestling that people like to say he can't strike, but he's still a better striker than probably 70% of the division. He's a monster everywhere. It's hard to pick against Khabib.
Yeah, Khabib I used to be like a big Conor fan before I really, really got into MMA and stuff. But yeah, I wanted him to beat Khabib. At the same time, I mean, how do you expect him to win after 3 years and stuff,
Yeah, and Khabib's been active and earning it. And,
yeah.
I think he's just sharper right now.
Yeah, it's hard not to like Khabib either. Like as a person or fighter, he's all about respect and loyalty and all that stuff.
For sure.
Yeah. He's like what you would want a champion to be, But
100%.
I got one more question for you, and then I'll let you get back with your day. But once you work your way up the rankings and everything like that, when and if you get the opportunity, who do you think would be champion when you fight, or when and if you fight for the belt?
Oh man, that's a great question. Gosh, people come out of the woodwork and go on these runs where there are 4 fights in the UFC, then they're the champion. So you never know. But
yeah,
I think by the time, let's say, how many fights would you need? Let's say in a fantasy land, we'll say 3 years. That's probably a fair timeline for somebody to have 3-4 years. I think we're looking at probably Kevin Lee could be champion if he can still make the weight by then. Kevin Lee, Gregor Gillespie. I think anybody like that is probably the next guy to take over. I would say Gaethje, but I don't think he's going to fight too much longer from all the interviews I've seen. He wants a couple big fights and then out. So I think probably Kevin Lee, man. He's like the most well-rounded guy in the division right now, I think. He's had some hiccups, but he's so young. I think he's only a year older than me. So he's not even in his prime yet. So that's probably the front runner to be the long-reigning champion for quite a while. So that'd be my pick as of right now.
Yeah, Kevin Lee's pretty good. And I don't know how to say his last name, but Islam Makhachev or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be I think that they're trying to work that fight out. That would be a good fight to have and see. And 2, I think he could be a problem to either be champion or a problem for champions for years to come too.
Appreciate that.
But anyways, I'll let you get back on with your day, and I appreciate you coming on again. Like I said, it means the world, and it's a blessing, man. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me on, man. I really, really appreciate it.
All right, man. Well, have a good day.
All right, you too, man. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
All right, you too. See you.